Good evening and welcome to Minority Caucus. And this evening, we're looking at bribery and corruption in the Mahama administration once again in the second week. We'll be looking at discussions around the bribe of a Ford expedition that was given to the President of the Republic. And we'll be right back.
I also want to take the opportunity to thank Meshes Umaru Kanazwe, Contractors Limited of Burkina Faso, for the very high quality of work they have done on this stretch of road. As I said, perhaps this is one of the best quality roads in Ghana today.
Welcome back, and you just watched an excerpt of the video whilst President Mahama was commissioning the road between Dodo Pepeso and Nkwanta on the Eastern Corridor. It appears that last week, after we had discussed this issue of Jibril Kanazue, a Burkinabe businessman who was looking for commercial interest in Ghana and was introduced to the President of Ghana by a contractor, a Ghanaian contractor who happens to be the Western Regional Chairman of the NDC, Big Edu. Introduced Jibril Kanazue to the then Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Mr. John Dramani Mahama. He was introduced on the premise that if he wanted contracts from Ghana, this was the person to facilitate business for him. Subsequently, we have heard about the fact that Jibril Kanazue's company got the opportunity to engage in commercial activity with the Ghana government, built a wall around the Ghana embassy land in Ouagadougou, and also got a contract here in Ghana on the 46.6 kilometer stretch of the Dodo Pepeso stretch of the Eastern Corridor to Nkwanta. In April 2016, from the video we just watched, President Mahama commissioned that stretch of road. Today, it's come to our notice that between a town called Kanyakura and Badago, there are potholes that have developed on that stretch of the road, as you can see on your screen, viewers. It is mind-boggling that after the discussions around a gift of a Ford expedition vehicle that was given to the President of Ghana and the brouhaha around it, contracts that have been awarded to Meshes Umar Kanazue have come up for scrutiny, to the extent that as we speak, the Minister of Roads has dispatched a team to go and take a second look at the quality of this road. However, President Mahama said at the commissioning of this road that this was one of the best roads in terms of quality in Ghana today. With me to go into the discussion of this matter tonight is my colleague, Mr. Emmanuel Asigri, who happens to be a former district chief executive for the Garo Timpani district in the Upper East region and currently a member of the MPP communications team. We will be later joined by Anthony Cabo, a deputy director of communications and our parliamentary candidate for the Laura constituency in the Upper West region. Ima, here we are once again. It's another week, and this issue continues to fester. Government has come in with denials and their side of the story. And as we go along, the discussion of the story deepens. There are more insights, there are new angles. And the MPP held a press conference yesterday asking the president to speak on the matter. Indeed, the president has been speaking ever since that press conference by the NPP. First of all, the president answered by saying that it is God that elects presidents of our country and not Ghanaians. He also talked about the fact that the allegations are baseless. However, contracts were awarded to Messrs. Umar Kanazwe, and one of the contracts has come up in the news again today from Joy News.
Thank you. Let me say good evening to viewers of this program. And having said that, indicate that it is quite sad with the way this, issue has been treated by government and no less a person, the president. And you see, this posture of the NDC and John Mahama himself is an indication of how they have taken Ghanaians over the period. If you take from when they took over the reins of government in 2009, when they started awarding contracts, that was when we started pointing out, with regards to the amounts they were quoting on certain projects that they were giving out. And I remember that the very first ones were schools. When me, as DC and other colleagues of mine, were building schools at 35,000 Ghana cedis, 32,000 Ghana cedis, and we have all these documented. I'm not just sitting here doing what they are used to, which is propaganda. When we, at the time, were building schools at that amount, when they took over, in March 2009, their first contract, which had to come from the Utu area, was 750,000 Ghana cedis.
For a 6-unit
classroom, if you remember that situation. And we started raising the issues. Up to the point when we were going for election in 2012, they were building schools at 400,000 Ghana cedis. That is 4 billion old Ghana cedis. And it has gone on this way. Even roads that had already been given out on contract by NPP. They came and repackaged these roads. And they were quoting exorbitant prices. The road, the Achimota, what's it called, Ofanko Road, which was halfway through and President Mahama went and commissioned. If you remember that bridge around the old PCFM area. We were all told about how much they had repackaged that whole thing and how much it was going for. We've raised these questions from day one. From the very day they took over the reins of government till today. And these guys think that the posture with which they treat us as Ghanaians, where it is like they rubbish everything that you put out there, they say anything that you put out there with disrespect, they have no regard for anybody in this country. It has gone on up to this time. And that is how come President John Mahama will come out and tell us that this corrupt issue that he is personally involved in is a baseless matter. For me, when I heard this thing last night, it shook me. Because looking at the world around, how other countries have put in measures to deter public officers from getting corrupt. And then we in this country, we've had a situation where measures of that nature were put in. Under President Kufuor, that is why the procurement law was introduced. That is why the Internal Audit Act was passed. That is why the Public Financial Regulation Act was also put in place. When you look at all these things that were put in place to curb corruption, and when you usually would say, like President Kufuor said, that corruption started from Adam, and we say yes, you can't just wipe away corruption, but we put some of these measures in place to at least reduce corruption. These guys came into office and decided that all these measures that have been put in place should be put in the bin, and they decided to embark on a loot, steal, share amongst themselves. And that is what has gone up to date. We just heard the president's voice. He's calling what has happened baseless. When he went and stood there, he was talking about the road being the best road ever constructed in this country. And the contractors should come and look and then emulate. 3 months down the line.
2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
And you know what?
The road was commissioned around 20th of April.
And you know what? The liability...
We are in May and June. Today is the 23rd of June.
The defect liability period, which goes with every contract. I've been there before. I was the chairman of a what's it called, procurement committee. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just speaking from a vacuum. I'm not speaking from a propaganda standpoint. When you're giving out any contract, you have what it is that is enshrined in the regulations that at a certain, when the contractor finishes, his final certificate that has to be taken would have to be paid after the project the person would have executed after the defect liability period. And I know that the defect liability period varies with contracts, but the minimum, which is not with roads, so but the minimum we have is 6 months, which has to do with construction. I know roads, it is 1 year and above, depending upon the type of, the nature of the roads. Today, as we speak, the defect liability period is not over. And we've started seeing this. And the painful thing is that, like I said, the wanton disregard for this country and its people. When this medium in which we are sitting and having this program broke this story, and I've gone further to really want to see and attest to what the president said, and then found out that potholes are on this road. Before Joy FM did this whole thing, I had people who let me blasted, in quote, blasted my phone this morning when I woke up with pictures of this road. And let me tell you, the village where this whole thing is happening, the exact point, you were given the place in between where this is, the exact village where this is happening is called Salifu. And anybody who is familiar with the, what's it called, the Eastern Corridor, spoke to the listening public of the Ghanaian people and admitted and said that he has reported this matter to his regional minister. Who are they deceiving? We have lived in this country with deceit, lies, all the negative things that you can think of, you would attribute to these people.
But if you compare, especially looking at the video that is on social media, that claims to say that what the media house has put out is wrong, and then they take a tour of the road showing a certain picture or painting a certain picture as what the current state of the road is. We have heard today on this same network the minister responsible for roads.
I was going there.
Who claims to have sent a group of engineers to go on site and bring a report as to why potholes have come up on that section.
Let me quote the minister when he said that he sent the engineers and what he added. He said, if this is true, that is unacceptable. Yunus Husseini says that is unacceptable. Perry, I'm coming. You see, these are the very people who have been touting this contractor. Beyond what President Mahama said about this Jibril Kanazo guy, the honorable minister too talked about how he's familiar with the terrain, and I think he constructed roads and then all that, and then they are giving him another one and all those things. Today, he's telling us that if that has happened, that would be what? It is far-fetched for us to hear these things happen. For me, I'm wondering where we are heading towards. And when the president comes to speak, because we are heading for election in the coming months, he's telling us that it is God who elects presidents. You see, then you see, they've done well. Because they've succeeded over the period in playing on the minds of Ghanaians. But I believe that what they've taken us through as Ghanaians, this time around, let them put themselves as religious people like they've always done in the past. Where it will be said that he is humble, he is God-fearing. We are not talking about God-fearing here. We are talking about honesty and how this country has been managed. How this country has been managed. He himself has gone out to talk about God electing presidents. I want to tell President Mahama, this election, there is no way he can win it. We are going for this election, we shall see. There are rigging mechanisms that they think they'll put out there. Look, this time around, we are ready and up for them. Because if we say we are going for a clear and clean elections, there is no way they'll even make a 20% mark in this country. Look at what they've taken this country to. Why are they making it look as if they live in a different planet and we, the ones who don't see with them, are living in our own world? What is this? Everything in this country has gone haywire, and then you can't admit for once that something has gone wrong and come and tell us that you don't like American cars. You don't like for a Ford car. We will get to that point.
He likes he likes Toyota vehicles.
This thing that is going on.
Just to make a point on this, and this is from the news story. It says that according to the DCE, Alfred Kofi Wukanye, some sections of the road need serious engineering. He explained that the regional minister has forwarded concerns to the Ghana Highway Authority. So, who is telling us the truth?
No, but
the DCE, who is responsible for the district, has spoken. The Minister of Roads has spoken, admitting that there are problems with that section of the road. And the government communications team,
including the president, don't leave the president out.
The president,
because he has decided to become,
seems to be telling us a different story. Yes, he has decided to
become a chief propagandist now, and that's been his style. He goes out there and then plays it and then goes back, the gentle John Mahama. But this time around, we are going to expose him. And we are not doing it from any quarters that nobody would know. The Ghanaian people should read him carefully and then get to know that that is a very dishonest man. Very, very dishonest man. Because look at the way he's going about this whole thing. You are one person who goes to Sunday and then you tout this contractor. You tell us that what he's done, other Ghanaian contractors or other contractors in this country should come and emulate. I mean,
this is a government that owes scores of contractors.
Well, and like I said,
from Get Fund projects to road contractors, Ghanaian contractors who owe banks a lot of money. And yet the president goes on national television saying that a Burkinabe contractor is the one who has constructed the best quality road in our country that has developed potholes in 8 weeks.
Well, if you look at this government, for me, you know, I'm lost for what to say. Look, it is not strange that their own members, President Mahama's own ministers, would come out and tell us that, yes, they are doing what's it called, a lot of construction, but most of these things they do are going with inflated prices. That road is a typical example where the president himself. So this time around, if we are talking about government or the NDC, we are not going to leave President Mahama out. He has brought himself into it. I didn't go and invite him. I'm not somebody who disrespects people. But if he is the president and doesn't know that he's got to measure what he has to say, and he thinks that what his serial callers would say, he will come and then do a double of that. Well, then he's telling us and inviting us to come on that tangent. And that's how we're going to go.
Okay.
Because
let's go back. Last week, you remember we talked about a contract that was won by Kanazue Frere, which is a construction company in Burkina, that won the bid for the construction of the wall around the Ghana mission in Ouagadougou. This is a government statement that was issued last week. And this talks about, it says that the scope of construction works on the 673.0 meters long fence wall involved the removal of topsoil, clearing of existing rice farm, and compensation for owners in accordance with Burkinabe laws, reinforced concrete wall with an overall thickness of 300 mm and an average height of 220 mm above ground and 80 mm below ground. It talks about the midsection of the wall that involved a reinforcement of 12 mm diameter, high tensile steel at 450 mm centers both ways, construction of a security post and a visitors waiting area. And it says that the Ghana mission in Burkina Faso forwarded 3 quotations from the construction companies to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration for consideration, of which the Kanazue Man's company won the bid.
You see, like I have said, throughout this entire evening, last week, this particular point came. And I was telling the viewing public that when I sit here and I'm speaking to this issue, I'm privileged because this land or this site in question is a place that I have been there 3 occasions. I have been there on 3 occasions. And unfortunately, when this government and its, officials lie, sometimes I don't know whether if they are bewitched. I don't know what to say but to say that. Because you find them lying when they don't realize that what they are lying about is not something that they can say they are the originators of. This land in question was a land that was given to the Ghanaian government when we were in government. When President Kufuor's government was in power. And under His Excellency Sanunu, the land was allocated. And like I said here the last time, it was not just given to only the Ghanaian government, but other countries were allocated on the same stretch of area.
So in effect, these are serviced plots.
I'm telling you, and as I indicated again that this is in an area in Ouagadougou called Ouaga 2000 in French, which means Ouaga 2000, the new Ouagadougou. And this is a new area in Ouagadougou where if you move in there to do any construction, you don't have any squatter or anybody there to say you are going to settle.
Well, but according
the issue of settling rice farmers, Dr. Omane Boama lied. And he's a liar in this regard. And I try to challenge to him. If he wants, he should come and we'll go to Ouagadougou. Listen, I'll fair myself.
He's accounting for the 650,000
and then we'll get independent videos to take us. And then he will tell us where rice farmers are in any part of Ouaga 2000. This is not the place that some of us don't know. So you come and sit there and then lie to the 24 million Ghanaian population and think that you've done something to cover yourself. Why are they coming up to make up all these things to tell us that is why the wall was built at 650,000 euros? Why are they doing this?
$650,000.
They are not smart at all because this land was acquired, was given to us, not even acquired. We didn't pay a cent for it. We didn't pay a peso for it. We didn't pay a franc for the land. It was given to us by the Burkinabe government. And it is not only Ghana. Nigeria was given, Mali was given, so many other countries were given. And like I said, I've been on that side on 3 occasions. 3 different occasions I've been there. There is a friend of ours who, when we were in office, was working out the sister-city relationship for districts. Anytime we went to Ouagadougou, it was based on something different. The White Volta River Basin, which had to do with some districts in the Upper East region. And my district, Garut and Pani, fell under that program. And that was what was taking us to Ouagadougou all the time. Either Ouagadougou or Temkodogo in their, southeastern region, where they have their Bagre Dam that keeps giving us the problem.
That's my constituency.
I get it. Then, we have this gentleman living in Ouaga 2000. Anytime we went, it's called Bajo. Bajo, anytime we went there, my colleagues who are watching, I know Guma is watching, and I know by now he's laughing over this whole thing. Would take us and give us a drive round Ouaga 2000. I like swimming. And they have a big swimming area in Ouaga 2000. Anytime I was there, I'll be crazy. I'll be crazy to go and swim.
Maybe it is in that pool that the rice farmers were doing their
So you see,
well, let's welcome.
No, I'm coming. I just want to state this. If you take what it is Omane Boama has put out, trying to cover their inflated price
they
for this war.
They are accounting for the 650,000.
If you take the schools they are building today, the schools they are touting themselves that they are building, they are community schools. They are spending 3.5 million Ghana cedis in building that. Convert the 650,000 euros to cedis and then see how much euros.
It's in dollars.
It's in dollars.
Is it in dollars? Yeah. Whatever denomination, whether dollar, pound, or whatever, convert it to cedis and see.
It's almost 3 million.
It's almost the amount they are using in building the schools. Is Omane Boama telling us that the schools they are building, I believe the schools are coming with sports facilities, which must have a football field. Is Omane Boama telling us that the land in question, which is the size of a football field, they build a wall around that football field? I mean, if they have to build a wall around the football fields in the schools they are building, they are going to use
in the 3 SHS.
They are going to use the same amount they have built the schools to build the wall. Is that what they are telling us?
That is what they are telling us.
It is time for you people to get to realize that these are a bunch of people who have nothing to offer this country, but just to steal our resources.
To the discussion, Kabu, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I had to take up a call, and that's why I'm late for the show.
Welcome to the discussion.
Thank you very much.
So, like Iman has been saying, yes, we've been discussing the bribery and corruption in the Mahama administration. We've been discussing the bribe that was given to the President of the Republic and discussing further the projects that the bribe giver has been engaged in, especially regarding the wall around the Ghana mission in Ouagadougou. Also, the road project between Dodo Pepeso and Nkwanta that has come up today in our discussions on radio, where after 8 weeks of commissioning, the road has begun to develop potholes. And this is a road touted by the President of the Republic as the best road constructed in our country today.
First of all, let me say a good evening to your viewers. Look, we have to be very clear, and I mean very clear, Perry, that we have a president, and for that matter, the presidency of the Republic of Ghana is a very important high office. It is the #1 public office we have in this nation. And that is why, as far as the Constitution is concerned, we give the president everything he wants. We give the president an aeroplane, we give the president a helicopter, we give the president a fleet of vehicles, we give the president a bicycle, we give the president a motorbike, we give the president goats, we give him sheep, we give him everything he wants. Why do we do that? We do that because we want to protect the sanctity of the presidency. We don't want our president to stoop so low, be so cheap, and take gifts from contractors. That's one of the principal reasons why the Constitution gives the president all the luxury that the president deserves. Why? Simple reason. The presidency watches over our resources. He watches over our resources from oil. He watches over our resources from gold. He watches over our resources from cocoa. He watches over our resources from timber. He watches over all the taxes all of us Ghanaians do pay. So if you have a president, and the stories that precede this matter has been that this Kanazuye gentleman, a Burkinabe, has been struggling so hard to get contracts in Ghana, met up with an NDC regional chairman in the Western region, Mr. Edu, who told him that, look, if you want a contract in Ghana, there's one place you have to go. Go and greet the old man. And then he introduced him to John Mahama. Suddenly, he got a job, $20-something million to the Peppersu Road, which you're talking about now. Subsequently, million euros, 26 million euros, he got a job and subsequently provided this vehicle to the president. Let's be absolutely clear. This is the vehicle which the president used during the 2012 campaign. Indeed, this is the vehicle that was used by His Excellency the President. So, of course, it was a gift to the president, quote-unquote, a bribe.
American cars.
We'll come to that. I mean, if you don't drive American car, somebody gives you a gift, what do you tell the person? When the country has given you all that you want, you tell the person you don't need the car. Why did the president take the vehicle, on top of it, went and paid duties on the vehicle and registered the vehicle? In whose name was the vehicle registered? State of Ghana? Or the president took the gift, turned out and donated it to the state of Ghana? Is that the case? Indeed, we all know that the presidency and his fleets do not, as we import vehicles for our president doesn't pay duties. Our president is absorbed from taxes. So under what circumstance, what mysterious circumstance did the president go to pay the duty on this vehicle and pay VAT taxes?
And in whose name?
And in whose name did the president pay this? So these are the circumstances. But having us to move forward, look, this contractor indeed got a juicy job. This EU job was never tendered for. It was sole sourced. Its contractor was given. My understanding is even that this contractor didn't even have equipment. He had to borrow equipment from the Brazilians who are also on that same stretch of road constructing. Brazilians are constructing that road. That the Peppersu Road all the way to the Eastern Corridor contractors. That is how come he got the machines to construct the road. I'm not surprised that after 9 weeks or so, after the road was commissioned, and indeed, our president said what at the commissioning? The president said that this is one of the best roads the eye can ever see, and this is one of the best quality roads he has seen ever since this country got independence. Indeed, I've been asking. So the road that TSEC have constructed, the road that Daewoo have constructed, the roads that all these major, in fact, Sonitra and the rest have been constructed. Is the president wanting to compare that, the quality of that road to this one that is being constructed by this person? You see, so we must be absolutely clear. Our president took a bribe. Our president took a bribe from a contractor. He broke his own code of ethics, which he has set out for his ministers. And of course, leadership is by example. Now, if the president can take a gift and suddenly say that the gift has been properly documented, and subsequently the giver of this gift gets juicy jobs from government. Because, I mean, under what circumstance would somebody bring a car and give to Perry if I'm not in the position of power to influence something for you? And it is clear that as we speak, According to the minister, a road was even under consideration to be given to this contractor. It's very interesting revelations as far as that matter is concerned. They told us, and this is from the minister, that because of the quality of work he had done on the Dodo-Pepe Susu Road, government has decided that he should demobilize from Burkina and come and construct the Wa-Hameli Road.
Because again, he knows the terrain and that he constructed the Burkinabe part of the road.
Exactly. But you know, President Kufuor had given out that contract to PW Ghanem in 2008. PW Ghanem got that road at a cost of 12.5 million Ghana cedis. He constructed 15 kilometers of that road, and there is no road, and I want to put this on record, there is no road from Wa to Hameli.
I said it here
There
last
is a simple road which has been constructed from Wa to Nadoli and to Drapa, which is being constructed. Was constructed way before this Atamel's NDC government came into office. However, the road that is still under construction, it is Nadoli, Babli, Lora, Nandom, Hameli. And you take the other side, Drapa, Domini, Nandom, and Hameli. And I have seen some of the contracts of these contractors who are working on the road. Indeed, Ghanem has done a fantastic job. He's worked on the road, he's inching gradually, and that is the only road which is not donor funded. GOG funds are used to construct that road. So the question we've been asking ourselves is, where did this $82 million road came from, which they were going to give to this contractor? These are legitimate questions.
1 second. Viewers, you can join us on WhatsApp on 0560 800000 0560 800000.
And you know, these are legitimate questions which we must ask. Now, I heard the president responding to the MPP yesterday. Very laughable. The president is very much aware that there is no constitutional process that can get him out. He's very much aware. The president knows that. But there's no constitution. Even the constitutional, the impeachment process is both a legal matter partisan and a political issue. So the president is very much aware that under these circumstances, he cannot be impeached. Then the president goes on to say that we should take it to the most important constitutional body that can look at this matter. As we speak, Shraj is not well composed. The anti-corruption agency Shraj, who could have looked in this matter after the boss of Shraj herself was complicit in the corruption scandal, she got fired. So as we speak, the commission is not well constituted. That is why we in the MPP are saying that, look, this matter has to go before a bipartisan parliamentary committee. We want to get to the bottom of it. And let's be very clear. It is in the interest of the NDC in parliament to embrace this idea of a bipartisan committee so that at the end of the day, the presidency can be cleared and the president of the republic can be cleared of this matter, because this issue will continue to be an albatross on the neck of this president, this gift that he has collected. To add insult to injury, the president comes back today to tell us that, in fact, his preferred vehicle is not even a Ford.
I mean, an American car. Oh, American car.
Take a
but I'll take a deep breath. You have to come back so I finish this
Minority Caucus will be right back. Welcome back to Minority Caucus, and we're discussing bribery and corruption in the Mahama administration. Kabu.
8 months on.
Yesterday.
8 weeks on, Perry. 8 weeks on. This road cannot be said to be the best road, quality road constructed in Ghana. Potholes ridding all over the road. It's terrible.
Bumps. The road
it's a bumpy. Terrible sight. And these are the problems that you have when you have corruption smeared under contracts like this. The quality of work will be compromised. And that's exactly what we are seeing.
The first gentleman of the nation
reduces this matter. I mean,
to showering praises on contractors.
Then what will you say of the N1 road
constructed? Gifts.
What will you say of the N1 road constructed through the Millennium Challenge account? That's a first-class road we've seen in this country. We haven't seen that before. This is the road.
These are pictures of the roads on your screens.
And the apologists who've gone putting something out there, trying to twist the whole thing. I still ask the question. Your own officials have alluded to the fact that the road has defects. I
posted photographs of this road after Joy News broke the news this morning on my Facebook page. Supporters of the ruling government trooped to my page claiming that the road and the pictures that were on my page were wrong and that this was propaganda coming from the MPP, and we had gone to take pictures of some potholes on some stretch of road somewhere, and are tagging,
Look, they are clutching to straws to defend the indefensible. The president took a bribe as a gift. The president gave contracts to this contractor. This
who didn't have the capacity.
Who didn't have the capacity to deliver on this road.
By the outcome of the road.
And it's very clear. It is very clear.
By the outcome
We,
of the
the MPP, are insisting that we want to protect the presidency of the Republic of Ghana. It's not about John Mahama as a person, because he says he has not taken bribes.
It's about the office.
It's about the office of the president. And I keep making this point. We've provided for the president everything he wants in this world. Any car, any vehicle, any motor, any bicycle. Judges were sacked for pittance. Judges were embarrassed in this country because they took goats, tubers of yam, sheep, cattle, eggs. All these things were used to embarrass them. Why were these judges sacked? The principal reason why these judges were dismissed is because you cannot be a person adjudicating cases and taking gifts from people. It's the same principle behind which we give our president all that he wants in order to insulate our presidency from taking cheap gifts from contractors. Can you imagine the number of contractors who would have been giving our president gifts? Only God knows how many has given him gifts which we are not even aware of. And this matter has to be properly investigated. I get appalled when I hear Ghanaians, I hear some section of Ghanaian people saying that, oh, but it's okay to take a gift. We have to protect the sanctity. Presidents have resigned because they took a wine gift. A wine gift. People resign for that. It is the principle. And look, very nicely, the president's own anti-corruption advisor in the castle presented with this matter in Flagstaff House, when he was presented with this matter, said it will be completely irresponsible for any leader worth your salt to take a gift from a contractor in this manner, because the contractor was not giving the Ford vehicle to President Mahama because in Burkina, Ford has established a new factory there where they are manufacturing it, and so he was distributing Fords and happened to have distributed one to our president. Our president took the vehicle. The president and his ministers have admitted that yes, indeed, the president took the vehicle. The president went ahead to go and pay duties and taxes on this at Intema. And on top of it, just 1 second, on top of it, we are being told that this vehicle was declared as second-hand. You know, Perry, it's so childish when I hear some of these things. A vehicle manufactured from the manufacturer's place, it must take 2 years for this vehicle to be classified as a used vehicle or a second-hand vehicle. 2 years.
But a brand new vehicle is a brand new vehicle.
A brand new vehicle,
irrespective of when it was manufactured.
Absolutely. A brand new vehicle is a brand new vehicle. So you can't be telling me this.
A used vehicle is only when it has been used by somebody.
But Perry, $100,000 worth of a vehicle was given to our president. Subsequently, jobs were abound for this gentleman. He got contracts. He was even supposed to take a contract away from one of the longest serving contractors in the history of the northern region, PW Ghanem, who in fact constructed the Bole Bamboy stretch. One of the most difficult roads to be constructed in the history of this country is that stretch. And that stretch ran through John Mahama's own house, the same contractor. So under what circumstances will you say that PW Ghanem doesn't have the capacity to finish the job which President Kufuor gave him in 2008 at a cost of $12.5 million? They terminate the contract and they proceed on to say that they are giving that stretch, which is about 38 kilometers from Baselbe all the way to Nandom to Hamele, for $82.5 million. This is ridiculous.
And they are giving that contract to the same Burkinabe contract.
And they are giving it to the same Burkinabe contract. And in fact, if you go to Upper West, for instance, there are many contractors, startup contractors, who could have offered and delivered this job perfectly. Why would we be giving money to the state of Burkina Faso by giving the contractor in Burkina Faso such a huge job? How many Ghanaian contractors are constructing roads in Burkina? How many Ghanaian contractors are constructing roads in Burkina? And for our president to say that the nation's resources should be committed to the construction of an 82.5 million Ghana cedis road from Baselbe through Nandom all the way to Hamele. In fact, it is a shame. It is an inflated contract. It's a contract which we must look into. And I was sad. All of a sudden, we have been told that this gentleman has pulled out of some tender. Was there any? According to the minister, was there any tender? In fact, the minister said that because of the nature of work he had done on this road, which the president had praised,
and knowing the terrain.
What is the terrain? Who knows the road?
Who knows the terrain better than the person who constructed the better part of the road?
On the road. Who? Ghanem is one of the best contractors in the northern region. And I'm telling you, many of the initial infrastructure in the upper regions were put in place by this contractor.
Absolutely. They've been around since the 60s.
Many. They have worked with Nkrumah's government. They have worked with Buzia's government. They have worked with Rawlings' government. They worked with President Kufuor. They worked with President Mills. And they are working with this government. So under what circumstance should we be subjected to this, ignorant view that indeed that contractor has capacity to deliver that road?
The circumstances.
It's sad. That is why, Perry, this matter must be properly investigated. We must get to the bottom.
Has not donated a Ford Expedition.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't think why. Why should Ghanem donate it? Why should Ghanem be out there donating vehicles to people? Absolutely. Ghanem is there to ensure that construction is done. That is the most important issue. Well, I am aware that the Jirapa Domini Nandom Road has been given to a contract to the tune of 19 million Ghana cedis. Fair and good. The rest of that contract has been inflated to a tune of 82.5 million Ghana cedis. In fact, almost 100 million Ghana cedis that could have constructed a brand new airport in the Upper West region.
Well, let's come to another issue. After the MPP press conference urging the president to speak on the matter, the president indeed has spoken, and has spoken on 2 occasions. On the first one, he talked about the fact that it was only God who elected presidents, and that come November 7th, God will make him president of Ghana again. He talked about the fact that he does not insult his political opponents, and also talked about the fact that his preference for vehicles are Toyota from Japan and not Ford from America.
Perry, when you listen to President Mahama, I want to take the insults bit. A man who thinks that, he is the epitome of smartness and he can do it and then, retreat and say, I don't do it. It is laughable. For me, well, he's told us that Ghanaians have a short memory. But I've always said that Emmanuel Signata is not one of those Ghanaians. For me, my memory is that sharp that I can recall when I became matured all the things that have happened in our governance process. And I've been around for a while. For President Mahama to come and then make those statements that he doesn't insult. Who else insults than him? Who introduced the American lexicon baloney into our Ghanaian politics? Who did?
And even described the MPP's press conference as a rabbit.
No, I'm coming. You are very there. And if people don't understand what that word baloney means, it means foolish. It means foolish. And on what subject was he speaking when he used the word baloney? This is not something I'm making it up. You can
This is when minority MPs held a press conference.
Absolutely, talking about we saving resources of our oil for the future.
Talking about oil resources.
And then he turned and said that was a foolish decision. What was that? Was that a praise? Then he moves on to call people names. He said he doesn't call names. Apart from the insult, that he doesn't call names.
He said now the MPP held a rabbit press conference.
When he calls his political opponents Opana, I don't think that in our Ghanaian culture, if you call another person or another colleague of yours Opana, that is something the person would embrace. He calls his political opponents Opana. He moves on to call others rabbits. Then he tells us that he doesn't insult. If he doesn't know, he's the chief of it, who has given his boys that leverage. And then anybody who speaks against them in this country, it used to look like it was a thing to do with MPP people. But you watch it over the period. Especially since when he
gone beyond MPP.
Anybody who rises up and speaks against the wrongs of this government, opinion leaders, chiefs, religious leaders, you find the way his boys descend on them. Look at somebody like Koko Anyulo in the recent few weeks. The way he's gone on certain people, including the General Secretary of the President Council. So when you see such a person stand and tell the Ghanaian public that he doesn't insult, and then he's political, he should tell us who insults. Well, we have just reminded him of the things he has said, and I don't think that's it.
Let me make this very important submission. The president says that his preference of a vehicle is not a Ford vehicle, but rather an American car.
No, a Toyota.
I mean, a Toyota car. It's Japanese made.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Now, if the president knew that his preference of a good car, or what he would ordinarily would like to drive in, is not a Ford vehicle, why accept the gift in the first place?
Exactly.
Why accept the gift in the first place? Why accept the gift and then go and
spend money on it?
Spend money to go and pay duties on it. If the president indeed knew,
but when you find people lying,
if the president knew that this vehicle was not his, let me tell you, there is a children's home in Osu. And I'm sure this vehicle or $100,000 could have helped a lot of orphan kids in this country. But the president didn't do that. The president went ahead, paid for this vehicle. I'm even being told that his kids have been driving in this vehicle. People have seen him in town. His children driving this vehicle.
And they tell us that it's in the pool.
You see, so this business about the vehicle being in the pool, it's important for us to ask. So far, none of us have seen this vehicle.
But Tony, another Tony issue that comes to mind. The duty that was paid on the vehicle.
Yes.
Where did the money come from?
Was it the state money?
Was it paid for by the state because, according to them, they are bringing the vehicle into the presidential pool?
It wasn't.
Or was it money that came from a private pocket?
I think.
And if it came from a private pocket, how did the person make that kind of money?
I think this is a suspicion. But I suspect that the presidency or President Mahama as a person paid for this duty. And then when the Manasseh issue came up, quickly, the defense will be that the vehicle has been donated to the state. Because the reason I say this is this. The president of the republic, all the vehicles and all the accoutrements we give to our president, he pays no duty or taxes.
So why did you pay duty on this one?
So why, if the president knew that this car was given to the state of Ghana, as we have been made to understand that it was a gift to the state of Ghana, why did they have to pay duty on it? Because it is going to the state of Ghana and it's going to the presidency, for which reason we don't have to pay duty and taxes on the vehicle. That is the more reason why the opposition is insisting, not because of President Mahama as a person, because he says he doesn't take money, bribe as a person, or as a human being, or as John Mahama. These are his various statements he's made. He doesn't take bribe because he can't be a person or a human being or whatever.
Is there a difference between him as a human being?
I don't know, but the BBC unravel that.
Is he superhuman?
I don't know.
As president?
Very, I have a difficult understanding what the president's response to that matter was. But you know, I know why the president was finding it difficult to respond.
I wish we could have that video.
I know why the president was finding it difficult to answer this question. Because he knew behind his mind that at the time this question was being posed, I had taken a gift from somebody. And because of that gift, I put myself in a compromised situation where that contractor who gave me this gift suddenly got jobs to the annoyance of Ghanaian contractors. Look, Perry, we have great contractors
and has not delivered on the quality.
We have great contractors in this country. And I think that this is a matter where all contractors in this country, all right-minded contractors in this country should be appalled.
And must rise up.
Because it means that we will sit in this country and foreigners
will come bearing gifts.
Will come bearing gifts to our president simply because you, the Ghanaian contractors, don't have the capacity to send goats and sheep and cows and all those things to your president in order to get jobs.
Are you talking about expedition of goats?
I'm saying.
And he's telling you
But Cabo, if Burkinabe contractors are bringing and bearing car gifts to the president of the republic, what would the Brazilians do? Because they are building all sorts of skyscrapers
I have just been informed
around
this
the country.
evening that the Bolga-Boku Road has been given a contract to a Brazilian contractor. I'm just been told this evening.
We have lots of road contractors.
We have the same AA contractors in Bolga. We have Mahums who can do this job. We have Lidra who can deliver on this job. We have so many contractors. We can't even count them. There is even a PW Ghanaian in Bolga.
We have ATD.
You see, so you ask yourself, what is happening to this country? It is a deliberate attempt to siphon money to friends and family, associates of this president, and it is shame. It's a shame. It's a shame that we find ourselves in this situation. Ghana currently is a laughing stock internationally. It's a big laughing stock internationally because our president has been cited for having taken a car gift to give a contractor
30 seconds
a
each,
job.
We have to go.
Such a huge amount. It's very pathetic.
Well, for me, I think that this issue is a smoking gun. It's not over yet. And there is no way it would be over because these are issues that have got to do with our president. And let nobody think that it is something we're just going to wish away. You listen to their people on radio and then they think that this is nothing and they go citing very, very useless examples which some of us have decided will not even talk about again. Because the examples they cite does not make sense at all. What I want to let the Ghanaian know, the viewing public know, the voter know is that my president, your president, our president is corrupt.
On that note, viewers,
you didn't allow me to come in. You gave us 30 minutes. Let me wrap up by saying that it's important for Ghanaians to rise up, speak on this matter. People are appalled by the fact that our presidency can be so cheap to take such cheap gifts from people and give them huge contracts in payment back.
Thank you, Cabo. On that note, viewers, we've come to the end of yet another interesting program. We'll leave you with this video. Watch this.
For the bribe before.
You mean as president?
As John Mahama.
As a human being?
As a person.
Any human being in the world would have encountered, corruption in a way, one way or the other, either being offered a bribe or a bribe being demanded from you. What you need to do is to put yourself in a position.
Mr. President, did you take it?
No, I haven't taken a bribe.